Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. It's Eric Foley over at Supreme Lending. Hey, had a couple of great questions this week from a potential customer. It was, what information do I need to provide in a home loan application, and how do I get started? Well, there's many ways that we can start the process. We can do it in person. We can do it over the phone. I can mail you an application. But what we normally do is we're going to send you a link to apply. We'll send it to your email or to your mobile device. You can apply online. Takes you about 10 minutes. It's military grade secure. And once you're complete, we're notified, the loan officer's notified. And what goes into that application? Well, I should probably know this off the top of my head. I want to say an actual application has like 11 sections of it. But when our form changed a couple of years ago, I forgot exactly how many are in there. So I know where it is. I know how to get it, but it's got a lot of different things. So first of all, personal information: your date of birth, your social security number, your name, your residence history for the last 2 years, your employment for the last 2 years, whether you're self-employed, W-2, even your income sources. So obviously, if you're hourly, how much do you make in an hour? How much you made year to date? If you're self-employed, we need to look at your net profit, but it depends on what type of entity you are as to how we would evaluate the income. And then, again, if you're retired, we need to know the sources of your income for repayment of the loan. Um, the other section that's important are assets. If you're buying a home, we need to know where you bank or where your savings, your checking, your mutual funds, anything that you're going to use for funds to close or reserves to qualify for. We need the last 60 days of statements for that. So you need to list that on the application. If you don't put anything on there, then we're going to reach out and ask you, where you do your banking, what type of savings, checking, investments you have, that stuff of that nature. One of the other sections is the declarations. You're going to declare the answer, or you're going to answer several questions. Are you a U.S. citizen? Have you had any bankruptcies, judgments, foreclosures in the last 7 years? Are you, delinquent on any federal taxes? You're basically going in there, answering those questions. And then one of the other important sections is it's known as for the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, is your race and ethnic background. If you would like to disclose that for the loan application, it's not required, but it is on the application. That is for equal credit opportunity and the Fair Housing Act. So when you complete all that information, that's what goes into a mortgage loan application. After that, we're going to take a credit pull. You're going to give us authorization. What I like to do, if you're just getting pre-qualified, is to do a soft pull. So there's no impact on your credit score. There's some things going on right now in changes in the FICO scoring models that there'll be more about. This is a whole separate video to share with you. But one of the parts of pulling credit is you can tell me what your credit score is, but until I actually see it, I can't tell you exactly what you're going to qualify for. So Credit Karma is 99% of the time not right. When we pull credit, we pull three bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion use the middle score for qualifying and for pricing purposes. So that's important to know. If you have your credit bureau frozen, you need to unfreeze the bureaus before we actually do this, or we'll be calling you going, hey, your credit's frozen. Could you please unfreeze it? Again, that's part of a whole separate video on credit. But the next question that we get a lot is, well, what's my interest rate? Well, if you're buying a home and you're just getting pre-qualified, I don't know what your interest rate is. I can give you today's market rate based on the options that we talk about. But until you have a home picked out, a contract accepted, and a closing date, we're not going to lock in your interest rate. Obviously, if you already have your purchase contract in hand and you want to know today, and you go through this process, yes, we can quote you a rate that will be good through the closing date with several options. And then obviously, if it's a refinance, same thing. I can price it out and tell you. But one of the questions that's asked a lot is somebody will just call and go, hey, what's your interest rate? Well, I can give you an interest rate from 3% to 10%. You may or may not qualify for it. It may be one of 100 different programs. So we go through this process, we pull credits so that we can zero in and give you accurate information for interest rates and costs. But everyone has a unique situation. Loan is like a fingerprint. Everyone has a different one. So just because your buddy across the street got a 6% 30-year conventional rate doesn't mean that you may qualify for that same option. You may qualify for something better. It's all very unique. What not to do during the process. Once you start applying, you don't need to go get pre-qualified at a lot of different lenders unless they can't pre-qualify you. Then somebody else might have a better option. You don't want to go open any new lines of credit. You don't want to pay off any collections unless you've talked with your loan officer. Believe it or not, that doesn't necessarily improve your credit score. The other thing is, don't make any large, uncommon deposits into your bank account without consulting your mortgage loan officer. And then, obviously, the other one is, if you're employed, don't quit your job. Believe it or not, I've had that happen 5 days before a closing, and it was not a happy situation. So hopefully that shares some insights as to the process itself. And as always, if I can answer any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Eric Foley, Supreme Lending, NMLS 502070. My phone number is 314-330-7454. Have a great day.